Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I apologize in advance for my voice. I'm having some allergy, dry winter air issues. Ignore me. Oh, and I got my little bat mug today. He's so cute. Also drinking the Dune Spice Blend from Fable Grounds Coffee. It's so good. It's also going out of stock, but it's on sale. So if you want some, grab it, and you can use my code RENEGADE10 for 10% off. So today's video is going to be my February TBR. Of course, we're going to be going over all of the books that I hope I can read in February. I'm going to lean in a little bit hard to the February cuteness of the Valentine's Day vibes and just read a lot of fluffy, fun romance, especially because February is my least favorite month of the year. It's cold and just dreary and horrible, and I don't really like it, so I lean into more comforting reads during this time and things that will just make me happy. So we're gonna be doing that, except for one's not happy, but that's okay. You know what, maybe none of these are happy because some fantasy romances are dark, man, but I think it'll be fun. There's also going to be a lot on here. I may not get to them all, but we'll see. A lot of them are shorter than my usual reads. The first one is A Lady's Formula for Love by Elizabeth Everett. This is one of the Regency romances, but this is more science-based, so I think this one's science, the second one's math, the third one's architecture. And it's the Secret Scientist of London series. This is book one. I've been really interested in reading this series for a while, and the third one just actually came out, so I feel like it's a good time to start it. I think it's going to be really cute and feministic and fun, and I've been really enjoying reading Regency romances when they have that feministic element, so I would love to get to this. Essentially, what I know from this is that the main character developed this secret society for lady scientists in London for them to come and just kind of have a safe place to go to because it's really looked down upon for women to be in this industry. And then some things start happening, some things are starting to get threatened, she's starting to get threatened, and she ends up having a bodyguard, and it's a bodyguard romance, I think. So it sounds cute. It's a very February read. Oh, I have my Caraval shirt on. I didn't show you. Remember, it's only a game. The next one I would love to read is City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaeffer. This is a new release, and it actually sounds really creative and good and horrifying. And it says it's a Gotham meets Strange the Dreamer book, and it's a fantasy about a cowardly girl who finds herself in the center of a criminal syndicate conspiracy in a city where crooked politicians and sinister cults rule, and dreaming means waking up is your worst nightmare. So literally in this book, when you have nightmares, you could, depending on how the magic works in these nightmares, I'm not really sure how it works, you will literally become your nightmare. So if it says, ever since her sister became a man-eating spider and slaughtered her way through town. The dreaming means waking up is your worst fear. That just sounds crazy and creative and horrifying and just so intriguing that I have to know. So I really want to read this. This really piqued my interest. I didn't really know about it or hear anything about it, and then it just popped up on my social media or something, or Goodreads, and I just have to know what this is. I'm just so intrigued, so I really want to read this. Next, I really want to read Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. This is a little novella after The Sorcery of Thorns. It's just solving a little bit of a mystery. It sounds cute, and essentially the two main characters, Elizabeth and Thorn, are settling into their life together after The Sorcery of Thorns, and Silas is back, and there's a lot of gossip surrounding them, and people are wanting to know what's going on, and suddenly the wards that are supposed to protect this manor are trapping them inside, and they have to solve the mystery of what's going on. So it sounds kind of cute and cozy, and I'm really excited to continue with these characters. And I'm gonna throw this one on here because I don't think I'm gonna have the chance to finish this before January ends. That is A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin. This was on my January TBR, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to finish it before January's over, so I may just kind of have this one skate in there too because it's romancy. And essentially, you're following a character who is trying to save her family's name because her father has a bunch of debt. And so to do this, she's going to try to marry rich, essentially, marry an heir to a fortune. And she doesn't count on falling in love. So it sounds cute and fun and one of those Regency romance situations. So if I don't read this in January, I'll probably transfer it to February. Next is The League for Gentlemen Witches by India Holton. I loved the Wisteria Society for Lady Scoundrels, and this is book 2 in the Dangerous Damsels series. And I think this one's gonna be my favorite because it's following a witch. And it's following one of my favorite characters from Wisteria, Alex O'Reilly. I loved him. Anyway, I'm very anxious to continue with this series because it's freaking amazing, and the third one's also coming out this year, and it's the last one, so I need to catch up so I can read the third one. This is quirky and hilarious. Do not go into this with a serious tone because you will be disappointed. It is very quirky and kooky and unique, but I'm very interested in it. I think essentially this witch character, Charlotte, is trying to get this like powerful talisman and make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, but then the pirate, Alex, is also trying to get this amulet, and then they end up teaming up to steal it together, and I'm sure chaos ensues. But I loved her writing, and so I'm very excited to continue with this. You can tell we're leaning into the cozy vibes despite the nightmare book. This one's probably going to be a little bit more dark as well, but I've heard amazing things about this series. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but it's one of those things where I just have to know, and it's Broken Bonds by J. Bree. So from what I know about this, in this world you have your bonded, which is kind of like a mate scenario, but you can have more than one. And this main character, her mother dies, and her mother's bonded also die, and so when that happens, she was relieved to have her own bonded. But something happens, and I guess she is convinced that she cannot be a part of this because the world will be in danger if she is, so she runs away, and after several years have passed, they kind of bring her back to them. The bonded find her and bring her back, and she has to kind of face up to what she's been doing, how she ran away. She thought she was doing the right thing, but maybe she didn't. And while they might forgive her, she says she will never forgive herself. So it sounds very vague as to what the plot is and what this underlying danger is, but I'm intrigued. And again, I've heard amazing things about this series, more so than the Zodiac Academy, which I still haven't read. So I'm intrigued, and I just kind of have to know. Even if I end up hating it, I just need to know. So I definitely want to read the first one. The covers are kind of crazy. They're really creepy with like the bug elements, but they're also pretty cool. The artwork's pretty cool. I don't know. What do you think? And if you've read this, tell me what you thought about it, because it's got a 4.3 on Goodreads. Like, it's got pretty good ratings. This is book 1 in The Bonds That Tie. And the last book that's going to be on my TBR. I may finish all of these and read more. I may not even get through half of these. Who knows? But the next one I'm planning to read is going to be Dark Harmony by Laura Thalassa. This is the Bookish Box edition and the third book in the Bargainer series and the final book in the Bargainer series, which is why it's on here. I really have enjoyed the Bargainer series so far, and I just need to know what happens. The last cliffhanger it left off on was kind of terrifying because it feels like the character is more vulnerable than she's ever been, which is usually not the plot for this kind of trope. So it's kind of interesting, and I'm kind of scared but also excited to see what happens. And I can't really tell you the plot of this one, but I can tell you the first one in the Bargainer series is following Callie, who is a siren, and it's an urban fantasy essentially, where she is a siren, she has these magical abilities, but magic is still not, like, it's not a plethora of magic. Think like Shadowhunters. It's urban fantasy, but some people have magic, most don't. And the Fae are in another world, and they're like known about, and they're terrified of them. And the Bargainer is a Fae, but he's also like the King of Death, King of Night, Hades type character. And if you make a deal with him, it's really, really dangerous, and you have to pay him back. And usually when you pay him back, you're paying back more than you thought you would, and it's horrible. So Callie, when she was like 18, 17, makes deals with the Bargainer until she owes him over 300 favors, I think it is. They are all represented by a bracelet that goes up her arm with a bead for each favor. And 7 years have gone by, and the Bargainer has not shown his face to her. He has not come to collect, nothing. And then one day he shows up 7 years later demanding to collect all of these favors, and chaos ensues and the plot unfolds. I've really enjoyed this so far. I really like the mystery element that's underlying this whole story, which is getting scarier. And not a lot of answers have happened, but I'm curious how she's going to wrap this whole thing up in the third book. And I'm curious to read more of her writing. I did read the first Four Horsemen book by her, and I will continue that series as well. But I've liked her as an author so far, so I really need to just finish this trilogy up because it's a series that I haven't finished. So this is the one I would also like to read in February. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading in February if I can. So we'll see how many I can get through, but it's just going to be kind of cozy, fun vibes for me, which is good sometimes. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you don't want to read a really dark, hard fantasy when you're experiencing seasonal depression. So February is going to be all about reading cozy, fun things and playing Hogwarts Legacy on the PS5. I would love to know anything you're going to read in February, or if you also like to lean into cozy vibes in February. But I need to go get ready for dinner because we're celebrating my husband's birthday tonight. As for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.